bunch of fans on right now. We have Coach Anderson on right now, and we have the 1998-1999 Elite Eight St. John's men's basketball team on right now. Hey, Johnny's fans, thanks for joining us here this evening for the second installment of a really fun series that we've been doing this summer. My name is Vin Parisi. I'll be your host and moderator this evening. I'm from Fox Sports SNY, and of course, lucky enough to be a part of your Johnny's Red Storm, of course. We're going to go back and forth, past and future, radio broadcast team. We have a fun evening planned. We want this to be fun. I have questions that the fans have been entering, hundreds of fans, for the last several days. We're going to pick the brains of the players, but we're going to let you guys jump in. So before we kick things off, head coach Mike Anderson, you know, Coach, when we did the first one of these with Bill Wennington, recapping the last dance, it was at the beginning of the summer, it was at the height of the pandemic, and the New York City area was truly stymied. Why don't you catch up all of the fans right now, all of the alum from the Red White Club, and all of the former stars that are on here today with what's going on with the Johnnies?
Well, first of all, I want to welcome all these young men. What a joy it is to see the Johnnies, especially guys who built this program. I always say they're always welcome, and if I get a chance to get them on campus, I'm looking forward to that. But I want to congratulate you guys and celebrate you guys. Let me put that first and foremost. And at the same time, the Big East is the Big East, and you guys went through it, and that's what we're trying to do. Last time I had a chance to talk to all our fans, obviously we've started school now. We've got our guys back in on campus. We just got the go-ahead when practice will start October the 14th, pretty much like it used to be when these guys played. They used to have the Midnight Madness, and of course now we're starting on the 14th. But before that, we had guys in. We've been working them out, and we had to bring them in slowly with this pandemic stuff going on. We had to have protocols where they come in the gym. We could only have 2 guys at a time to start it off. We had to bring them in pods. Certain guys had to live with each other. We're testing probably once every week with these guys. When they come in the gym, we creating our own bubble. And so we've been working on skill development, and we build it up to where we can have our whole team on the floor right now. So we're excited about the group we got coming in. We have a lot more New York flavor. I hope you know that. I know the guys on here from New York area can appreciate that. And it's all about getting the right players. We have 2 young kids, high school players from the play in the Bronx, who I think are going to be exciting players to go along with the guys that are returning. So I'm excited about what's taking place. And but more importantly, this is a night of celebration. You know, I had a team that I always tell my guys, you know, every year we're trying to win a national championship. And it's so funny when I got a chance to talk to these guys. That's the first thing they said, Coach, we want to represent. We want a championship. And I want them to know that every year that's my mindset. And so we're going to work our butts off to get to that. I've had a chance as an associate head coach to win a national championship. As a head coach, I got to the Elite Eight, and we played against a team I was at Missouri, University of Missouri. We were playing against a Connecticut team out of the Big East. And this little shaking and quaking little guard, we just couldn't stop him, man. I tell you what, his name was Kimball Walker. He was a freshman. And, man, he kept us from getting to that Final Four that you always try to get to. And but you know what? I don't feel so bad because guess what? He's doing the same thing up in the NBA. He's shaking and quaking on those guys. So,
absolutely.
But more importantly, I'm excited about being the head coach here at St. John's, and I want these guys again, part of the family, man. We welcome you.
Well, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you so much, Coach. And as we get going here, guys, if you anticipate a little bit of noise, obviously we can't hear any of the fans on, but all of the fans can hear all of us. Just be aware of the mute button if you need to. But let's get right down to it, and let's welcome of course, on this call this evening, Meta World Peace, Tyrone Grant, Eric Barkley, LeVar Postel, Reggie Jesse, Chudney Gray, Donald Emanuel, Albert Richardson. And it was a special year, 98, 99. Number 5 in the coaches poll, number 9 in the AP poll, 28-9 overall, 14-4 that year for St. John's in the Big East. The only two teams finishing ahead of them in Big East play were number 10 Miami and of course number 3 Connecticut, who would eventually be the national championship this year, champion winners that year. Well, guys, we have 84 guests on and counting. And I know that when the fans, whether they see you guys at Madison Square Garden or whether they want to connect on social media, they're always so interested in the, where are you now and what are you up to now? So if we could just bounce around the group, what are you up to right now since your playing days in the current state? How you've handled the pandemic, and let's just set the stage before we dive back into the past a little bit. I'll actually give the floor to Tyrone Grant, who is the chairman of this event, getting all the panelists together. So Tyrone, you deserve a round of applause for that, my friend.
I listen, Mike Anderson, I deserve a check for putting these dudes together tonight. It was like a full-time job. I got like 5 companies, and this is probably like one of the hardest group meetings I ever put together in my life. Shout out to my man Nick Vendicos for texting me every day to remind me like that's part of my job description. But you know what? We all happy to be here, and life's been very, very good for me. Like it continued after St. John's. I had a 12-year, 13-year basketball career. I got to acknowledge my man Mike Jarvis and his son for the amazing job he did for us at St. John's. Because it is, Coach Anderson, New York players, and we had about 11 New York players in one gym. All 11 of us knew we was going to the NBA. Then you add Albert Richardson, who was the old man coming on the team, and everybody was competing every day, fighting every day to get some minutes on that court. And what happened? We had a great year, and I'll take all the blame for us not winning it all, because I know Eric will blame me, but my bones just didn't agree with our plan.
Bad bones.
my bones didn't agree with but shout out to the managers, Al Perez, Brian Crimmins, everybody, Anthony Durant, all the managers. Yeah, we had a bunch of fun that year, and everybody's still alive and doing well.
The 12-year career, I was a first-round draft pick for Portland Trailblazers after my sophomore year. Currently, I started my own training company, which I train kids. It's called 94 Feet Clamp Squad. That's the size of a basketball court, if you guys don't know. Basically, I just been grinding. I wrote a book about the end of my NCAA troubles, which everybody know I went through. I have a documentary coming out soon, and I just been working, man. Staying busy.
Albert Richardson.
Wow, man, it's a blessing, man, just to be right here, just to see all you guys, and this is huge, man. This is something that I've been looking forward to for a while, just to reconnect with a team that, man, I just appreciate, how these guys welcomed me when I came to New York with open arms, man. They treated me like a brother, and I just appreciate them, every bit of it. After St. John's, I wound up leaving and finished doing my senior year at Kentucky Wesleyan. And after that, I wound up going overseas. I played in Finland. I played in Beauvais, France. And I played in Seoul, Korea. Then I came back to the U.S. and the first year they had the NBA Developmental League, I was one of the first players that got drafted in it when they had the draft for it. To a team in Huntsville, Alabama, and I bounced around after that. Right now, I'm an engineer out here in Houston. I do mechanical and electrical work out here in Houston, and right now I'm working on opening up a gym for the youth right now.
That's dope.
Right now, I'm working for the city, so I'm just here, just grinding with my kids. Right now, I'm just really trying to make my kids during this pandemic, just like you said, different ways to grind or whatever. So right now, me and my kids is making soap and different candles. So that's what I'm spending most of my time right now. So that's what I'm doing. Here's my label or whatever. You go to Instagram.
Free advertisement.
Yeah, basically.
Let me get a sample. Let me get a sample.
Pay for that spot.
Yeah.
How about Colin Charles?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, after St. John's, I transferred to Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, and in the Northeast Conference. And we didn't do too well, but I had a pretty good academic career there. Ended up graduating with my degree, and then actually, I never really played pro after that. What I did right away was start a youth basketball program called Colin Charles Basketball Camp, and I graduated over to Toronto Gauchos. And when you see guys like Nikhil Alexander Walker in the NBA, those guys came from my program, and guys like myself and other guys who went Division I came back, and we just spread the knowledge. And I guess we're the guys who came and opened up the doors, and we're like the front runners, the guys who kind of made Toronto, Canada, a basketball powerhouse. And so I currently keep doing that. I started a little program called Little Hoopers for my son who's 5 years old. I'm an educator as well. I have two degrees, one from York University up here in Canada. So education is really big, and that's what I've been doing the past 15 years, 20 years.
That's terrific. Thank you. How about Donald Emmanuel?
The one that set a bunch of screens and I don't know, a bunch of other stuff. Got on Jarvis' nerves most of the time. I got a bunch of stories. I can't wait till we get into that aspect. I guess I'll speak about what I've been doing since I graduated from St. John's. I've basically been working in sales and marketing. I had a little stint. I got a little gig internship with Jay's sister at Rockaway when I was actually at St. John's. So I was able to do a little bit with her when I first graduated. Then went from there, worked for Gatorade. I had a little tutoring service for a brief minute. I worked in liquor sales, and now I work for a hospice. So I deal with people. I deal with the various hospitals and assisted living facilities here in Houston. Unfortunately, I basically deal with death for a living, but we try to bring comfort to these various individuals' lives prior to the inevitable. But yeah, so that's what I do for a living now. I've been doing that for several years. I actually like it, oddly enough, but I mean, it's still sales and marketing. It's still basically my background. I got to get out there in the field every day and get in front of different people and have conversations about what we bring to the table. Over at Brookdale Hospice, I used to be with Vicus Hospice, but now I'm currently with Brookdale. Corona has definitely stifled everyone, especially the industry that I'm in. Not being able to get into the hospitals and assisted living facilities has been kind of tough, but just like everybody else, we're just taking it day by day, figuring it out, working online more, making more phone calls than I ever have in my life, and we are figuring our way through something that's been introduced to us that we've never experienced. We can't lean on anybody, no grandparents, no forefathers. Nobody else has ever had to deal with this, so we all have been taking it day by day for the last 5 or 6 months.
Wow.
It is what it is. It's unfortunate when people pass because they definitely are passing from it. But you know, they say only the strong survive. So you know, the people that are still here are, you know, finding a way to make it through from a either financial or health standpoint. So I'm just glad to see a lot of my teammates still kicking, doing their thing. I got the opportunity to run in the Big Al not too well, about a year, I guess, or so ago. And
Yeah,
then,
man.
you know,
We out here.
Ron was down here. He didn't give us a championship, but I got to run into Ron a couple of times when he was in the H. So that was cool. And yeah, that's my story. So ask away. But when we get to the real part, let me know, because I got stories on Al trying to cook. I got a couple stories on Ron wanting to beat me up when he thought I was trying to hurt him my freshman year. And then I can't even get into the stories with me and Eric.
All right, welcome back.
We're going to leave me and Eric's story.
St. John's is, is embedded in me from New York City. So I'm really, I remember I had options and stuff like that. I'm trying to go to St. John's. E. Bart came to St. John's. Reggie Jesse came. Tyrone was already at St. John's. And I really appreciate all the out-of-towners who came and represented with us because we needed y'all. We really did need y'all. I thought we had a chance to win the title, man. I felt like if Tyrone didn't get hurt, I feel like we would have won the title, right? We was rolling. And when Tyrone got hurt, man, it was just like, it was difficult, man. It was really difficult because 20-10 every night, 20-10, and and then he broke his wrist. It kind of hurts, but we still did okay. And the next year, guys came back and they won. Right now, I'm currently just retired and working with Tyrone right now, which is cool. I know Eric Barkley has a documentary that I want to hopefully help out there. Just trying to use my love for school, and I really did like school when I was there. I attempted to major in math, but it was difficult doing that, and going to practice at 5:45 with Fran Fraschilla, having to turn in an architect project, sweating all over my architect project, had to drop the class. Oh my goodness, 2020s, good Lord. I don't miss that at all, but I know, right? Remember those 2020s?
2020s. Wow. I haven't heard that in a while. 2020s.
2020s, man.
2020s. Wow.
And that's pretty much it. Now I'm just, we're just here. And every athlete, I like the path that Donald's taking right now. Every athlete don't have the opportunity to continue, sports as we know it, college or NBA. And it's really good to see us using, our minds and doing something else. I kind of gave up on coaching in the NBA. I want to coach, but I want to be a head coach right away. I don't want to work for it, so that's not going to happen. And I'm doing other things right now. And luckily, I have guys like Tyrone who's in my life and some other guys in my life that I continue on and get back. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm really excited to be here. And I really want to see St. John's win a title. Like, you don't understand. The whole reason we stayed back to home, the whole reason we stayed is to bring a championship, to New York City. There's the reason why we stayed. There's no other reasons. St. John's is the pedestal. St. John's is it, New York City. So, anything we could do, I would love to see St. John's win the title and bring it home. And you have our support.
A unique time in program history, because as Meta said before, you're transitioning from Fran Fraschilla into Mike Jarvis. So you have success, and now all of a sudden a first-year head coach comes in. Take us through that dynamic when you're coming into a situation to where there's guys that have been in that locker room and on that court longer than you have.
Well, I think Tyrone, he said it best. Hats off to Mike Jarvis and his staff. He came in, and I'm sure this team was already a family. It was already a family. But I think he came in, and a lot of coaches can come in, with that mentality. Hey, we're going to do it my way. But I'm sure, with the team that you guys had was very, very talented. And I keep hearing the word competitiveness. You guys were so competitive, and I'm sure that made your team that much better than the teams that you played when you did play, because of what took place in practice. People don't realize you win games in practice, And so maybe that was a calling when, the coaching changed. It could go one way or the other. Guys could go one way to the left, or they can go to the right, or they can meet. And I thought that group, they must have met. And because one thing about it I know is, to advance in that NCAA tournament, you not only got to be good, you got to be lucky too. And so I just think, those guys probably took ownership. When two things take place on a team, leadership and ownership, and just by listening to these guys and what they're doing right now, there was a focus about this team. And because basketball didn't define them even when they left, the courts, when they stopped playing. And so I just, there was an ingredient on this team, and you guys can chime in on that. What was it that made you guys come together? That first year, you always want to prove people wrong, but at the same time, what is it that set you guys apart?
Let me go, Kyle.
Okay, go ahead, D.
It started as kids, Coach. We all played for a program with Riverside Church, most of us,
Absolutely.
So we all started our whole bond from that. And then, Mr. Lorton and Coach Thurm, they just did a great job with us, transitioning us into young men. And, once we got to college, we knew the goal there.
We had like 3 of us playing in this thing called the Empire State Games. Remember that, E? And that was before the season. So that kind of exposed Mike Jarvis to what can possibly be at St. John's. Because I don't know if you guys noticed, when Coach Jarvis got there, he was very direct, and he was supposed to be a disciplinarian. You couldn't have facial hair and all types of nonsense. But Aaron, get out of here. But when he realized he's dealing with at least 11 homegrown city kids that just needed a little bit more discipline and structure, he kind of got it after like the first day. And that competition in practice was so fierce, because again, you talking about 11, 12, 13. Hey, we had a walk-on that ended up getting a professional tryout. That's how competitive we were, Coach Anderson. We had a walk-on, Kareem Saeed, who had an opportunity to play professional basketball.
Do anyone remember a point during the season where you're like, man, we're pretty freaking good?
I could tell you. I can answer this. We played, I think it was like the second or third game. We smashed UMass, and they was like top 3. And then we came into the locker room. I think Ron had a fight with Chudney because Ron didn't get enough shots. But then after during the fight, we realized nobody can really mess with us. You know what I'm saying? And that was the beginning. After that, practices got crazier, more intense. It was literally like the second or third game. I don't remember when we played them, but I'm sure some of the managers remember this, because we talk about this when we see each other. It was like the second game, Vin, and we kicked their ass.
It was our first game.
It was the first? Okay.
It was the preseason NIT. We played UNC Asheville. We won by 55.
By the way, let me just say for the record, November 16th, 1998, preseason NIT, UNC Asheville, 105 to 50 by 55. Eric Barkley has a memory like an elephant.
Listen to your point guard, bro.
Dude, I didn't say nothing.
I ran that show, Coach.
That's a fact. I didn't say anything.
E-Buck, you ran the show since I was because he picked up 94 feet.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I'm picking up 90 feet. I'm watching E-Buck pick the ball from everybody. I'm like, damn. E-Buck told me a lot of people, they want to point guard in New York City. Real tough.
Yep.
You know what? I'd like to add on to that a little bit. You know what was so dope about having some of the guys that we had on the team? So obviously, Ron played a long time in the league. I remember Tyrone just talked about the UMass game. So I remember being a freshman coming from Houston. I was starting at the time. So I get in the game and I take a shot, and if the shot went off the backboard, hit the backboard hard as hell, but went in. And the first, I'm sitting there, I had to take it because there wasn't no other option. And I'm running down court and run like, yo, son, that's what I'm talking about. Shoot the ball, shoot. Like, what my point to even bringing it up is we fought each other like brothers are supposed to, but we all believed in each other. You know, when given the opportunity, we believed in each other. Now, when I went to the bench, Coach Jarvis looked at me, he was like, son, let's go ahead and finish the play out. And I remember Ron was like, F that, son, shoot the ball. But I had to figure out, okay, Ron, my boy, Jarvis, the coach. I'm gonna go ahead and run this play out next time just so I can stay on the court. But you know, no, I'll BS aside. I bring up that story because it was always competitive. Like it was all, you might hear stories about a fight or whatever, but at the end of the day, man, we were all cool with each other. We got on each other. We grilled each other like brothers are supposed to. But we fought hard, man. You know.
One question that a fan wrote in: who was the
Oh man,
toughest player you guys faced in that 1999 NCAA tournament?
Ken
Who's
Johnson.
the toughest player?
Ken Johnson.
Who?
Who was that? The big boy
Yeah, he changed
from Ohio
the game.
State.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
big
changed
boy
the
from
game.
Ohio State.
He changed the
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
He was
blocked
tough.
the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if we
he
had
was
if we
tough.
had Tyrone Grant, if we had tied that game, no way we lose. That game not even close.
But the crazy part, I ended up playing with Ken like 2 years later in Italy, and I made his life miserable thinking about the fact that they beat us 2 years before. Real talk, son. I was miserable. I that wasn't my friend for like the first 3 months of the season. Like, son, you trash, and you because of you we lost. Like I was tight.
What what comes up in your conversations, not just your memory from that 1999 NCAA tournament, coach, but when you talk to boosters and alumni, what are their recollections from that run in the tournament?
First of all, they want to get back there. That's one thing they talk about, getting back there. But at the same time, just talked about how they were the ultimate team, and I think these guys have kind of said that. You know, no one was. Everybody was for everybody, and like I say, as a coach, that's what you look forward to, guys that they trust. It's all about trust. You know, coach trusts you, and they trust each other. So that's what they talked about. But they always talked about the hard nose, the toughness. They epitomize what New York's all about. That's why you hear me when I talk about, you know, I want a blue collar type team to fit what we're doing here in New York. New York's a blue collar type town. And I think people can appreciate guys going out there and leaving it all on the court, trusting each other, playing with one another, playing to win. I think that's the most important thing, and they represent. And I just see there's so much love and affection for this university. And I've heard it tonight from these guys. You know, they've got so much love for this university. And so, as a head coach, you know where I want to see it. I want to see it at the highest level. And but that's what they talk about. They talk about, you know, what these guys brought to the table, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, I came to St. John's. There's great tradition here at St. John's. And so you know, just getting on this call here tonight, I can't wait to get to the gym tomorrow. Our guys are in trouble tomorrow because, like I said, I thought some real players.
Coach,
Eric, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll tell you this: the one thing about New York City, if you haven't figured it out yet, and this is a dude from Houston, Texas, telling you this: if your guys play hard, you know, winning typically comes with playing hard. But if your guys play hard, I can guarantee you that city is gonna love you in a way that we probably can't even discuss on right now. Like, man, look, I'm telling you, man, I probably averaged 3 points my whole career. But like to say, man, if you play hard and you win some games, you are in the right city. I
Mhm.
promise you, you are in the right city. You're at the right university. If those guys just play, man, like Ron said, he averaged what, about 14 points? But man, Ron brought it every day. Reggie came in and brought it every day. We had a cast of guys that were on our team. LeVar, Collins on the phone call right now, man. We had dudes that really came in and played hard. Like you said, it starts in practice. We competed with each other.
Yep.
We got on each other, man. But when them fans, once COVID is over with, hopefully soon, and the garden opens back up, man, and those fans see your players playing hard and competing and just giving it all that they have, man, that city is gonna love you in a way. The AD gonna make sure he give you an extension. Everything, you know what I'm saying? Like everything's gonna work out in your favor, man. Like just get the dudes to play hard, man, and everything else gonna fall in place. I can guarantee it.
Guys, how would you talk to a recruit or talk to just a young buck now about what Big East basketball was truly like in the 90s?
I think, I mean, I know Reggie, you was about to say something earlier. I didn't want you to miss that point.
Oh no, I was just talking about.
Man, I can honestly say, man, when I first got recruited to St. John's, I remember I went in Luke Hornacek's office, and he asked me. He said, "You want to go to the league?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Once you sign to St. John's, you're in the league." And I can honestly say I got treated exactly like that because everybody that I was around was professional. And these guys, man, they pushed me, man, to a level that I felt like I was starting all over. Because when I got around these guys on that team, man, they really showed me what basketball was all about. Coming from New Orleans, I was like, wow, man, these is superstars. Every day these guys got in that gym, dude, and it was an NBA game. It was a real game in that practice. It wasn't no playing around in there. And from the drills to the working out, even to the stretching, everybody was professional, and they treated you exactly like that, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was some good times. That was
Oh
some.
yeah.
Shout out to Al Caronia. So y'all remember when Al used to have us doing 2020s 6 o'clock in the morning for no reason?
Some of that was
So I
making
did
time.
60 suicides. What'd you say, Reg?
I was making the time though. It was some of y'all coming back in the afternoon to do it again.
You remember that? Yeah, Al physically, I think Al physically gave us an advantage that most of us it carried over into the next stage of basketball. Because for me, just physically, it was nothing compared to Al Coroni at any level professional. And shout out to him and what he brought to the program because he's one of those unsung heroes people don't even speak about. But Al Corona came there and helped us physically, but got us ready. Even you had muscles.
Yeah, he broke us down, man. I remember him breaking us down, and if you get one suicide, you got to do the whole 20 over. I arguing. I was like, I ain't doing these suicides. I'm out of here. He said, yeah, you are. I said, I bet you I won't. Man, I did 63 suicides. Freshman year, man.
Hey, Coach Anderson, this guy Al Caronia had the managers on a strict training routine. You had to be physically fit to be a manager.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough at the time, but I mean, I really do appreciate that guy.
Yeah.
It's funny you guys mentioned that because right now, it's this morning, after a weekend, my guys had, Saturday and Sunday off. I had them up at 6 this morning, conditioning, working. And it's all about paying a price, man. You got to pay a price to be a champion. And I always tell them, it's not necessarily, it's not punishment. It's just not the physical part of it. It's the mental part of it too. It's kind of like if I can get through this here, my day gonna be all right.
Right.
And I think that's what we're trying to instill with our guys. And not only that, life skills. I'm sure some of you guys, you got jobs where you got to get up early in the morning, man. Well, it's no big deal because you've experienced that. So it's just not just basketball, and like you said, these are life skills that
Yes.
you learn here, and you guys are applying them the right way. And it's good to hear you guys express that.
We haven't really spent any time on that first game you had in Knoxville, Tennessee, to where you beat number 2 Maryland. What do you guys remember about that Sweet 16 victory?
The pregame speech, Durham and Deuce telling everybody that if we don't give Steve and LeBron Prophet any dunks, we got a chance of beating them. You know, we watched a little film on them, and they fed off of the dunks. Like every time you would see Steve and LeBron, or I don't know, a couple other cats, I can't remember their name at this time, but every time that they got dunks, they fed off of that. And then they would go on runs, 6, 8, 10-point runs after they catch some kind of alley hoop or dunk on whoever it is that they were playing. So our job was to try to keep them from dunking. You know, you could score. Scoring is cool. But they got their runs off of, they fed off of dunks. They fed off the oops. They fed off of all of that. So I remember when we were discussing a lot of the pregame tactics, if you will, they spoke to us about keeping those guys off of the rim, keeping the alley oops to a minimum. And as a team, we collectively did that. We sent Steve packing early.
Yeah, I just remember that game. Steve was talking crazy on the layup line, and then like being the competitors we are from New York, it was a wrap. Like after the layup line, we already knew what we had to do. So he was talking crazy, you know what I'm saying? But we smashed him. From what I remember, we smashed him.
Are you talking Steve Blake, Tyrone?
No, I'm talking Steve Francis.
Steve Francis. Okay, Steve Blake was after.
That game was personal.
Shout out to the whole St. John's community. Shout out to all my teammates for being here. Mike Anderson, we go support you as well as we can here and from a distance.
Being in the hood and talking about we going to St. John's, that was big. And we could have went other places, but we wanted to fight for our city. That's it. You understand? And a lot of people don't understand that. And I really appreciate Donald and Albert because y'all not really from the city, but y'all came to fight with us. And during that time I was locked in. Practices super highly intense and but I really appreciate you guys coming and fighting for us and almost getting us a title. I really appreciate you guys. Eric Barkley, I remember watching Eric, like I said, he picked it up 94 feet since we were 13 years old. And I remember being behind him and seeing him take the ball from everyone. And I would ask him, how do you do that? How do you do that? And if you see how I steal a ball, a swipe around, that's Eric Barkley's defense. I learned so much from being behind him in high school for years. And then that carried over to college, watching Tyrone at Grady, watching him play against some of the other high school kids, older high school kids that we looked up to, and then going to school with and playing with Ty. This is New York City at its finest. And being from New York City, we go through a little bit different things in the city. So we fight for the city, and it is what it is. And it's always going to be like that. So I'm really, I always wanted to win a title. I always thought I was destined to win an NCAA title. It didn't happen, and my career was pretty crazy. It is what it is. But I really want to see St. John's win a title. Like, if y'all don't win a title, I can't die before that happens. You understand? Like, I need to see that happen. I need to see that. I need to see the trophy and the ring and the rafters in St. John's. We're still passionate about this. People don't understand, about, the passion and connection we have with the city. It's different. It's different. You understand? So I would love to see y'all do anything it takes. I would love to see the players in New York City stay home. Stop leaving. Stay home. And let's get this title. So, we don't get nothing for St. John's winning a title, But what we do get is a feeling that no one could give it. You can't pay for it. I think E. Barkley and Reggie said it earlier.
E. Bark, Albert, Reg, Mr. Meta, Colin, Ty, Cap, man, I appreciate all of this, man. It was good seeing you dudes again. It's been damn near 20 years, man. We got to figure this out for real. We don't, really need the university to bring us together, man. We just got to put forth a little effort. To all the alumni watching, man, hope y'all had a blast. We still as crazy as we were when we were 18, 19,
Yes, sir.
20.
Yes, sir.
We just old men now with kids and bills. And but we still the same dudes, man. Ain't too much change, man. SJU for life. And again, Coach Anderson, good luck, man, because I definitely remember y'all back in them Arkansas days. So I'm pulling for you now that you with my university, man.
Things that come to my mind is heart. You guys play with a lot of heart. The love that you guys have for each other, and for you guys to come back in this setting, for our fans that are out there that are listening to this here, that's big. And the other part of it is, I'm sure, the coaches that recruited you, whether it be Fran Casello, whether it be Mike Jarvis, Dermine, I'm sure they're proud of you guys. This is the win right here. When we can sit here, you said 20 years from now, guys got families, they're productive citizens, they're giving back. That is the win for a coach. And so, obviously, you highlighted that by what you did on the floor. But more importantly, what you guys are doing now. And I see you guys as givers. You're giving back. And that's going to help this country win. We know the state win right now. But if we do our part, you guys continue to do your part, things will change. It's a movement right now. Let's keep that ball moving. But
Yeah.
I'm so proud to have a chance to get on here and visit with you guys. I want to stay in touch. But you guys, again, open invitation whenever you guys.
Oh, thanks, Coach.
Feel free to pick up the phone and call me. I'll get all my information to you. Same here. And I want to continue that because I think we got some kids here who have some of that, what you guys had in them. But I need somebody to come in and kind of sit down with them because they're in a different time zone. Like I said, they're into
Anytime, Coach.
Yeah, everybody right now don't want to go through the process. They think instant. It's going to happen right now. There's a process, and you guys went through the process, and guess what? It paid off. Proud of you guys, man. Thank you for the alumni that are on here, the St. John's fan, and again, you guys will always be honored here at St. John's.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Coach, and thank you to all of you gentlemen for making this night possible. The 1998-1999 run, one that St. John's fans will remember for. Thank you, fans, for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys soon. Go Johnnies.
Good job, guys.
All right, fellas.
All right, good job, guys.
Right.
Love y'all.